Second Nature for Children is in the house. Coach, how you doing?
As always, man, I'm great. How about yourself?
Man, I'm doing absolutely great. I'm ready to get right to it. I know last week, I don't know how you let me do this, that it's supposed to have been our challenge week for this week. So now everybody ought to be
Okay.
going on, yeah, everybody ought to be going on 2 weeks. So we really should be good now. So we got to go ahead on and continue. If you started last week with that challenge, because I thought that last Sunday was this Sunday for this first of the
Yeah, I
month.
said the 23rd. I said the
You did,
23rd. You
you
probably told
did,
us the third. Yeah,
you
yeah,
did, and I didn't catch nothing but the third. So I was like, okay, it's March the third. So I said we got to get right into it. So that means now if whoever jumped into it last week, that means they should really be on a roll now. Because we're gonna go ahead on
yeah.
and
Yeah, a challenge within a challenge. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
a challenge within a challenge. So we're gonna go ahead on
Yeah.
and continue it for this week right here. So whatever you got started on, whatever you've been procrastinating, like I always say about, or something that you've been wanting to kick off, you want to get going, you want to get started, we're gonna do it for another week. And if you didn't do nothing last week and you just hearing us, this is our week that we take that challenge where we begin to take on something that we know that is for our betterment. And so let's just make sure that everybody that's coming in, like, subscribe, and share this information. Make sure that at least 3 days out the week, you doing at least 30 minutes or 45 minutes or whatever stage you're at. If you just starting out, I don't care if it's just 20 minutes, but you got to get out and get some kind of walking and some type of cardio going. And you'll see yourself elevate and get better as time go on. You got to educate yourself more about clean eating. We got to start, especially as you get older, you got to start eating better to take care of your body. And like I said, I always let you know that if you need my help, if you have any questions, there's my information right there. But you got to take care of yourself because I'm gonna tell you something. You either gonna pay a price for it now, or you're
Right.
gonna pay, or
Yeah.
you're gonna pay a price for it
Yeah.
later. And that's a fact. And that's one thing I like to do, coach. It's good sometimes you give your perspective on things, opinion on things, but I like to stay around facts, something that I can prove. That's what I like to stay around. And what happens a lot of times though, it keeps people away from the channel. It keeps people away from me because a lot of times we like to go back and forth and back and forth. And I'm not with the debating type of thing because what I found out and what I see a lot of times, it gets us nowhere. Once we get through debating and you go back your way and I go back my way, we still haven't accomplished anything. You understand? A lot of times. So I like to
Mm.
come in with facts and let's get something done. And I know I had hit you up a little earlier because I want to talk about one thing, but I want to deal with something that I've had conversation with even this week and even just yesterday at the gym, speaking with someone. And I want to talk about what happened to the Black family after Big Mama died. That's why I want to see what you think about that. I don't know, we're in different areas, different places in life, different dynamics of our families. But I want to
Mm.
talk about, yeah, but before I get started, I just want to make sure that we understand what Big Mama that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the Big Mama that was born, I would say, between the 1800s coming into the 1900s up to
Mm.
probably about 1920s, somewhere in that era. So I want to make sure that I'm talking about Big Mama from the late 1800s to probably about around 1920, 20 something. I'm talking about that Big Mama, the matriarch of the family. I'm talking about that Big Mama, the one that had anywhere from literally 10 to 20 children. I'm talking this yeah, this the one I
Mm.
want. Yeah, the one that had anywhere from about 10 to 20 kids, and the one that really realized that being part of a religion was being spiritually connected. I'm talking about that one.
Mm.
Not just being part of a religion like a lot of our folks are now, but the Big Mama who really understood that being part of a religion was truly being spiritually connected and having morals, integrity, and character.
Mm,
Exactly. And I'm talking about the one that
mm,
introduced most of us to Jesus, because it was my grandmother who taught me about Jesus and took me to church. And the one that taught me about yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no
mm,
sir, and the one that that taught me to even to say excuse me, when I crossed in front of someone. All of that came from grandmother, the matriarch of our family. And I'm talking about the one that during the holidays, family reunions, that everyone in the family would flock over to the matriarch's house, grandmama. Now that we know the one that I'm talking about from my experience and talking to other people and from observation, it may not be yours, may not be yours. I just explained my experience, me talking to people from my observation, because I know everybody's family is not the same. But I can
true,
guarantee you that
true.
what I'm getting ready to talk about, somebody gonna be able to relate to what I'm talking about. So I want to just talk about that Black family. What happened when Big Mama died? One thing we have to recognize, and it's gonna be hard for some people, is that family members are just regular people. They just
Yeah,
that's gonna be hard for
I,
some
I
people.
I know that for a fact. So yeah,
Okay, okay. They just
yeah,
this gonna be another hard one right here. Our parents are just regular people. I just want,
yeah,
I just want them to understand that. Now, what make them special to you is the type of relationship that you may have with your parents. That's what makes them
yeah,
special to you. But they just regular people, whether you know it or not. And that's why a lot of times, and I'm gonna say this right here now, things that we went through with our parents and certain things, now understanding that our parents was just regular folks, a lot of things that you may be harboring or bitter about, some things you just got to let it go. Some things you just got to let it go. Some of us are still walking around holding grudges 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, because we thought that mama and daddy or whatever, whoever was our custodian, was special. And we know that they supposed to, that's what we wanted. They supposed to love us. They supposed to do that, but they didn't do it. And a lot of us are still harboring that in our heart. And now we should get to the point where we need to just let that go, because what it'll do is it'll bring peace to you, because you could be sitting over here harboring something and carrying something where it's bringing you down and you don't even understand, but the person that you feeling this toward, they just fine. You the only one suffering. Yeah, you the only one suffering with it. They really not even suffering with it, because just because it's your mama, your dad, or whoever it is, we got to understand this right here. When I say they regular people, it still don't mean that they have matured out of that. However they treated you 20, 30, 40 years ago, you feeling that, they still could be thinking here, they still could have that same mindset. So it's gonna take us as an individual to be able to say, you know what, I'm done with that. You know, if I come into their company, if I come into their presence, I'm gonna be cordial, but I'm not gonna let that wear on me anymore. So anybody who going through something and they holding on something because of whatever happened in the past, we got to definitely learn to let that go. We got to let that go, because during the time everyone is meeting, I'm gonna say this right here, and I'm gonna let you go in, coach, and you tell me what you think. Everyone is meeting over Big Mama house for gatherings, and there's a lot going on in the family. I mean, I'm gonna explain what happened after Big Mama died, because I've had this conversation this week. There's a lot going on in that family with all of those children and all of those grandkids, because Big Mama got anywhere from 10 to 20. Remember that. And sometimes big mama kids are not even getting along with each other. So I'm getting ready to let you know what happens. A lot of times, coach, and you could jump in anytime you want to, but I'm gonna break this down. A lot of times, big mama kids are not even getting along with each other for whatever reason. It's a lot of different reasons, a lot of that we don't even have time to go into what the siblings could be uh, going on about. And within that family, you may have parents that have a lot going on in their lives that's causing a lot of rift in that family. Or it may be a one parent household because of a split. See, it's a lot going on in Big Mama family. It's a lot going on in Big Mama family. And 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 then the parents, they playing the children against each other.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
Monday through Friday, it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. Big Mama got a big family, and it's a lot going on within that family. And we have to be careful. That's why I said earlier, and I want you to remember when I say that family members are just regular people. They dirty. You got some dirty. You got some folk with no character, no integrity. I'm just gonna go on and tell you so you don't have to be so
Yeah. Yeah.
upset. You can put them on a certain pedestal because that's your family. You put them on that pedestal because you thinking that if this my family, my mama, my dad, and my sister, my brother, that they supposed to treat me a certain way, but I'm being treated another kind of way, and that's causing a lot of conflict in that family. Coach, I'm gonna stop right there and I'm gonna come back. I'm gonna let you go in, but I'm getting ready to explain and I'm breaking it down. If they listening to me, I'm breaking it down why after the matriarch dies, why the family don't continue a lot of times to come together or things change. You got anything you want to share on that?
I'm don't have that much experience when it comes to Big Mama,
Mm,
but as far as family, as a young man, a teenager, my definition of family was, family look out for each other.
mm,
That's what I believe. That's what I thought, and I didn't see anything in the open to put any doubt in that until got a little older and started traveling. And then you started seeing folks' true colors, like, dang,
mm,
you know. Um, and this is later on, man. I was much grown then. I found out that my dad's family had issues with my mom. You know what I mean? But I had nothing to do with that. But I got the blowback directly and indirectly, you know. But like you said, man, people are people. People are people at the end of the day, man. Even with that sibling thing you talk about, man. My mom had 3 kids when she met my dad, and myself, brother and sister. So it ended up being 6 of us. But even though we were raised in the same house as family, there was still that division because I guess my mom felt she had to do more for the first 3 because, their dad not being around. But as a kid, you don't know nothing about that. You just know that, hey man, what was going on? You know what I mean?
mm,
They're always right, you know what I mean? What's going on. You feel it, but as a child, you know, you can't open your mouth and say anything. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely know about that riff, man. And the thing about it is that one mom's passed, the rift just got wider
Mm.
because really there wasn't no cohesiveness. It was just, you know, I would say pretend, really, look like what it ought to be, but it really wasn't. You know, you talking about Big Mama being here and Big Mama gone. If it was that real cohesiveness, that real family, regardless of who passed, you would think you would still have that locked in. You know what I mean? But if that's not the case, then it really wasn't as tight as, one would think it was or what it ought to be. You know what I mean? So that's my take, man, in regards to that.
Well, I think that's where hurt, and like I said, from a conversation that I had with a young lady this week, I think that's where it hurt a lot of us. And right now, today, I think that hurts a lot of us because the thinking of, like you said a little earlier, how people think that family should be.
Should be, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
should be. And when it ends up not being that way, it really hurts a lot of people because they was expecting, because it's supposed to be family, it should be different. That's my sister, that's my brother, that's my mama, my dad. It's supposed to be different. And not thinking at the time, with damn, this really just a regular person that if they are not maturing, and
Yeah.
that's why the foundation that I'm talking about with the mind, the body, the soul. If you're running into someone that's not maturing spiritually, where the integrity and the character and all of this begin to build better, and they become a better person, a lot of us haven't even tapped into our spirit to understand that if we're going to be a better person, it comes from within us.
That's true.
It comes from within us. And
That's true.
so
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
so I'm hoping that tonight that we can pass this information on to let people know, listen, stop letting a title, just because that's your sister, your brother, your mama, your dad, or whatever title they carry, you thinking that they supposed to act and conduct themselves in a certain, that's what you would like, I understand. But if it don't happen that way, don't you carry that burden. Let it go. People are gonna be people. They are just regular people. And that's one thing I think we got to definitely work on, is knowing that, man, okay, they just regular people. They make mistakes just like everybody else. A lot of parents never mature. That's why you have what they call old fools. A lot of our parents may grow older to never get it. But if you get it and you get an understanding, then you'll be able to understand it better about your parents, and you'll be able to let it go. Because you don't have to be still arguing, doing this and doing that. Let it go and understand they just human. Ain't that special about them.
Mm.
Ain't nothing special about them. If they don't get it, they don't get it. That don't, whatever happened back in the day, whatever, let it go. Don't you carry it. Because a lot of our parents had us at a young age. In a lot of different situations, our
Mm-hmm.
parents had us at a very young age. And
Trying to figure it out too. So
they trying to figure it
figure it out.
out
Yeah.
too. Do you
Yeah.
understand? When
Yeah.
you when
Yeah.
you begin to mature, you can sit down and say, you know what? Okay, I maybe had a young mother, a young father, that was not ready for that responsibility, not knowing how much harm it was going to bring to the children. That's just like a mother and a father divorcing. A lot of times they don't know the effect that it have on especially
On the
small
child
children,
until later on. Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
child
Yeah.
until later
Yeah.
on. So as you get older, you got to realize yourself. That's why I say we're in an individual game right now. Well, we got to take responsibility within ourselves, because definitely in the Black family, over the years, there has just been a lot of trauma, period. And we got to learn how to heal from it. We got to learn how to heal from it. And I'm asking everyone who's dealing with it, sit down with yourself have a long talk with yourself. Because one thing about a lot of us, we can give great information. We just don't take heed to it
He
ourselves.
did.
Yeah, you got a lot of people, they can give you some great, great advice, great information, but they just don't take the heed to it themselves. So we got to start taking time where we sit down and begin to meditate about our own lives. First, like I say, always the fundamentals, and that's taking care of our bodies, our mind, and our soul. If we don't know how to do it, I got plenty of videos out talking about it. There's my information if you need to hit me up, but we need to get it. And when it get to the point where big mama kids are not getting along once again, for whatever reason it may be, it could be a lot of jealousy in the family. That happens a lot. It can be a lot of dislike in the family. That's why a lot of times you have a better relationship with someone outside of your family.
But the thing about that, man, I'm telling you, um, to find that out maybe what, 21, 22, 23, while traveling. Like I said, blew my mind, man. That tripped me out to know somebody I don't know, probably know about 2 months, and just traveling, different areas in life. They're much older, and they treat you better, man, than your own family. That tripped me out, man.
Well, see,
You
go ahead on,
know,
go ahead on, get it all
so
out.
so that's I'm so great or so passionate about traveling because that really opened my eyes to a lot of things when it comes to people, period.
Mhm, mhm.
You know what I mean? When it comes to people. Like I say, you expect this from family, and then you realize the family number relatives, some are just relatives. And then you see strangers, treat you a whole lot better. You're like, man, that was my education traveling, man.
And see,
You know what I mean?
yeah, and by you saying it right there, that's what I'm trying to explain. By you saying it right there, when you run into somebody a lot of times outside of your family, whether you know it or not, that person you run into, they could be more mature than a lot of times your family members. You understand?
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
mean
yeah.
integrity, character, just a good person. Just because they're your family member, it doesn't mean that they're a good person. So you can run into a good person outside of what you would call your family. And then what happens is a lot of times you and your family members, y'all don't have nothing in common, but y'all are just by blood.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So here's
yeah.
the thing right here. Y'all really, you and the family member, y'all are just family members because of blood, not because y'all have nothing in common. Y'all may not have nothing in common. Y'all don't spend time together. So when you run into that person outside of your family who you got something in common with, you understand?
Yeah, yeah, I got you. I got you.
Yeah. So a lot of
Yeah.
time, that's why you're gonna have a lot of time, you're gonna have a better relationship with people outside of your family if you don't have a close bond with somebody within your family. A lot of times you'll build that bond with that friend you see more often, that someone you could talk to more often, that someone who's maturing spiritually. That's why a lot of times we have a better relationship with people outside of our family because one thing about love, and to be very honest with you, a lot of times there's not a lot of love in the family. You would want it to be.
True, 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 true.
You would want it to
That's
be,
true.
but it's not a lot of
Yeah.
love, and especially as we get older and everybody begin to go their own way. You understand? We really lose that connection with each other. We're just, if we run into each other or whatever, we're cousins. That's, we're brother, we're sister, we're whatever. We're just that. But there
Mhm.
is no true connection because we don't spend time together, we don't talk, we don't do nothing. We're just only related by blood. That's all. We don't have
A
nothing in
lot of pretending, man. A
a
lot of
lot,
pretending.
a lot of
A lot of
pretending.
pretending. It's like, man, really? Nah, man. I ain't built like that, man. I mean, if I deal with you, I deal with you. If I don't, I don't. I can still be cordial and what have you, but I'm not gonna pretend, man. Mm-mm. You know what I mean? That's
Absolutely.
not me. But like I say, you live, you learn, and one of them ones these things about traveling is that when you meet people doing the same thing you're doing, traveling, whatever, is that camaraderie y'all build automatically. You know what I mean? Because the same obstacles you're gonna face, more likely they might face it too. Or they face it, so they let you, hey man, go this way, go this way. You know what I mean? Because I've
Absolutely.
been through that. You know what I'm saying? And that's just real, man. You know.
Absolutely.
So and that's why I always encourage people, man, you gotta travel, man.
Mhm. Okay.
You got to travel. I'm telling you, you just don't know. Big old world, man. Big old world. Gotta travel.
And like you say, it give you the opportunity that to meet good people. You
Yeah,
understand? It gives you the
yeah.
opportunity to meet good people. And I mean, anywhere you go, you have to be careful of who you meet.
True, true. That's true.
I'm
That's
just
true.
saying that when you're doing something that you enjoy doing, a lot of times you're going to be in that area with someone else enjoying that same
Same
thing.
thing.
A lot
Same
of
thing,
times,
man.
yeah, you would build a better bond with them than someone that you're related to who's not doing what you enjoy doing, because that family member, they can be off doing whatever they're doing. You may not be want to go nowhere, smoke, drink, party. What you may not want to do that. You understand? So if that's what they want to do, you all are not going to be close because you all are living two different lives.
That's true. Yeah.
So a family member couldn't get upset with another family member when we already don't have a good relationship. Now all of a sudden you get in trouble. You call me all of a sudden out of the blue. You need my help with something, and depending
uh,
on what you can got in trouble about, you expecting, watch this, just because we are family, that I supposed to drop what I'm doing, or I supposed to do this, I supposed to do that, to come and help you if you've been making bad decisions. So once I don't come and bail you out because you've been making bad decisions, now I'm an MF, or ain't no good, a family ain't no good. You, we got to do better. And there's a lot of skeletons in the closet with a lot of families. And like I
family.
said, yeah, it's a lot of skeletons in the closet. It's so much trauma in the family that some haven't even healed from. And that's why a lot of times, I don't know if you can heard this, but I can heard this so many times, like I say, from conversation at family gatherings, especially when the alcohol get to flowing. And yeah, here we go now. And the truth serum begin to come out.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Now, every time I know folks can relate to this, they getting ready to get loud because that trauma in that family. He been wanting to say this, she been wanting to say that. Now here we at a family gathering, arguing. Literally, I've dealt with people where literally fights have broken out at the family
Family
gathering.
gathering. I mean, holding
Ooh,
that stuff too long, man.
been holding it. You understand? You've been
Hmm.
holding it. And now, like I say, you can got that alcohol in you, and it's time to let it out. It's time to let it out. So, with all of that going on in the family, then once the glue, the matriarch of the family transition on, a lot of times the family becomes loose. We have nothing now to bring us together because watch this, and you said it a little bit earlier, we were not coming together because of love. That's not why we was coming together. We were coming together because everyone wanted to come and see the matriarch. You understand?
Yeah.
So now, once the matriarch is gone, and there was no love truly for the gathering,
Mm.
We have no reason now together. Every little family now, they just doing their own thing.
On thing.
Everybody doing their own thing. So
Yeah.
that's what happened. Is you go back through it and just look at how it was broken down and so much damage and so much risk because when we was meeting at the matriarch's house, a lot was going on in our own families. The only reason, like I say, we were coming together because not of the patriarch, the man don't get it. It ain't the man who bring the patriarch here. It's the matriarch. That's the reason we was going to
Mm.
see Big Mama. Everybody was going to meet over Big Mama house, and it was so much tension a lot of times in a lot of families. There was no love at the family gathering, and that's why when the alcohol got to flowing, it was on
Awesome.
the argument, the fight, it was on. And it's
The best movie that depict that was Soul Food. Yeah, Soul
was it
Food.
soulful? You know what? I never watched that movie, but by you
Oh
saying that,
man.
I, so that's a. Do you understand? I
Yeah,
never watched that,
yeah,
and and
yeah,
and,
yeah. That's it right there.
and that happens in so many families. And so
Yeah.
my thing is that if you dealing with anything with anybody, because in my family, I have no beef in my heart, no great. If any of my family members indicate anything that they willing, they changing, and they want better, they need to holler at me for some. Man, my door is always open. And now the family gathering and the family reunion is always at a funeral. That's
Yeah, that's most people, I would say. Yeah, that's most people, really.
that's the
And that's
gathering,
something.
that's the gathering, and that's the reunion now. It's at the funeral.
Yeah.
What happened to the black family after Big Mama died was that it was so much damage already in a lot of our families to once the glue that brought us together transition, now it's nothing to bring us together because it's always bickering. That's why when somebody passed a lot of times, Lord have mercy, don't let them have a little something. Cause boy, if Big Mama,
Yeah,
man, if Big Mama didn't have that will together or that some paperwork, do you see how we come? We seen Big Mama a lot of times. Some of us be distant, but as soon as Big Mama passed, and we want to see
here they
what
come.
was left, here they come. Here they come. So whatever what happened, man, was a lot of times, like I say, man, was a lot of us we wasn't coming together for love. We was coming together when you really look at it, just because everybody it was a holiday or it was a gathering, and this is custom, it's formality. We headed over Big Mama house. We want to see Big Mama house, but once Big Mama passes on, a lot of we go on with our lives, and that's about it. And we distant from each other. The only thing we have in common is just we're just relatives. That's it, and that's why a lot of times you would have something more in common with someone you'll meet outside of your family because that's who you spend more time with and that's who you do things that you enjoy. What you got?
Um, I just wish folks, let's be real, man. Let's be more, stop being pretending and be real with your folks, man. If you got an issue, you know, because you can't correct it when you gone and when they're gone. You know what I mean? You got an issue, man, address it, smooth it out and keep on living, man. And if you got an issue with an adult, man, don't take it out on the offspring. Don't take it out on the kids, man. Come on, man. You're supposed to be grown and more mature than that, man. Them kids ain't got nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? Settle that up as adults, man. Stop passing that on to the kid. You know what I mean? That's what it stands out to me, man. If people don't pick up anything, man, I just want to emphasize that, man. You
And
you claim you're an adult, man. Be an adult, man. You know.
that's why you talking about coach. That's a big problem. The kids pay the price for this
Yeah,
mess.
yeah.
For the The kids pay the price.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. Some of our parents tore things up in the family so bad and then blame you or blame somebody else that they was the problem instead of looking at themselves.
So, yep.
So you said a mouthful then when the thing is, hey, mom, dad, whoever, you're the parent. I didn't even ask to come into this. And they put a lot on those kids, man. And that's happening right now today because I'm working with them every day. A lot is put on those kids, and a lot of them are brought into some real ugly situations because the adult lives are so torn up.
Oh, no.
It's real ugly
Yeah.
for our community, and especially our children are going through a lot because I deal with a lot of different parents every day. And once you meet a lot of our people, and like I said, I'm in what they would call the low income community, I'm gonna continue to go in there and work until they lay me down because it's a lot of work need to be done with our people, period. But in certain communities, boy, they need our help real bad. And here I have an organization and people won't even come out to help the organization to help us help kids, help people. So, and that's why a little later we're gonna talk on that other subject that I brought to you about is the revolution over for blacks because it's over. We're not gonna do anything to help each other.
It's,
It's a wrap. It's a wrap. But this came to mind. I had to
yeah,
deal with this
man.
from a conversation. But coach, you got 2 minutes. I'm done. The reason we not coming together, man, because the families are so torn up and there is no love. So really there's no reason to come together. So coach, I'm done with it.
I heard a piece today. A preacher was talking about home and everything starts there at home. And I know that as a fact, man. Good, bad, in between, starts from home. It really starts from home. It might be reinforced in school or reinforced in the streets, but it starts from home, man. You know, and we got to be mindful of that. You know, the issues you got that if you display them consistently, that can be passed down to them kids. Them kids can pick them up. You know what I mean? Without you realizing it, you know. So you got to be careful, man. You got to be mindful. Start off by what I always talk about. You got to have a time with yourself, man. An audit, check in on yourself, work on the things that you need to work on, man, and keep living this life, man, trying to be the best version that you can possibly be, man. You know. So all we talking about, like I always say, is life, man. If you're paying attention, if it's for you, get it, man. If you don't, it's not for you. I understand that too, right? So let's keep living, man. Let's keep being better. That's it, man.
Coach, I'm out. I always take your advice at the end until we come back together. I'll holler at you. Appreciate you.
Peace out, man.